We're here at World Happiness Day Saunathon.
We are, and happy.
In Helsinki, and we're happy.
And we're
exactly. Big event, World Happiness Day. So could I ask you to introduce yourself and tell us, what brought you to Helsinki for this very momentous day?
Well, first and foremost, congratulations to all the Finns on their ninth consecutive year being happiness. And as someone who wants to be happy, I think this is like coming to Mecca.
But it is a little, isn't it?
It is like Mecca, I think, for happiness. But I actually just wrote a book called The Happiness Reboot.
Yes.
Which is trying to help people find their own path to happiness. And so this is a great opportunity for me to come and learn and experience what the Finns do really well.
Right here in Situ.
Right here
Absolutely.
in Helsinki.
Well, you've just mentioned your book, and we're really, really excited to learn more about it.
Yes,
so
absolutely.
tell us a little bit more. What brought you to the topic?
I find that we are struggling to find happiness sometimes because of our mindset and because we're running these old scripts about what we're supposed to do, what type of work you're supposed to do, who you're supposed to partner with in life. And I want to help people be conscious of these scripts that we're running.
Excellent.
And if necessary, reboot your hard drive, clean it, and put the apps there that lead to happiness. And so this is my way of really trying to help people find their own way.
Awesome. So really giving them a process,
absolutely.
almost to follow, to kind of say, look, this is your map.
Choose your own adventure.
Your map to happiness.
Yes.
I love
like that. I should have named the book that.
Next one is the next one.
Part 2.
Perfect.
Yes.
Now, you've got a really exciting background, but I'd love to hear a little bit more about how your corporate journey has kind of shaped your, how you think about this and how your thinking has evolved based on your experiences.
Well, it's an interesting way to think about your origin story, because most people wouldn't say my happiness origin story started with work. But in fact, mine did. I actually was an executive at WeWork. It's a co-working company. You may have heard of it.
I have.
But I ran a division that designed and built and operated spaces that we hoped would bring people together, have employees feel engaged and productive in their work.
Yeah.
And maybe this is being a little bit, hubris in some ways, but maybe induce a little bit of happiness. And even after I left WeWork, I had this idea that we could have happiness at scale, not just in our work, but in all of the other areas of our life. And so this led me to just start to be curious about the different theories and philosophies and strategies around happiness. And I believe that this is something we can do at scale.
I love that concept of really being able to build it with purpose.
With purpose.
That's really exciting.
In fact, the interesting thing is one of 3 things that people have found to lead to happiness consistently is purpose. It's very much a Viktor Frankl kind of sense of like, if I don't have purpose in what I do, not only in work, in everything I do, I will struggle to be fulfilled.
Yes, and I think it comes back to this notion of, what does it mean? Is it having stuff doesn't make you happy? It's like getting stuff and thinking and engineering stuff and making things happen. That's what makes you happy, right? Like this. Also, the meaning of happiness is not having stuff. It's like experiencing things, going on a path. That's exciting.
Well, it's interesting. So I'm American. I live in Atlanta. I lived in New York for many years. And a country that has so much in terms of the traditional ways you think about accumulating. But this year, for the second year, the U.S. is not even in the top 20 of the World Happiness Report. And when we look at some of the countries who have far less, it makes you wonder, are we really solving for the right things?
Yeah.
Are we as a society solving for the right things? So it would suggest that if I am focused on accumulating and having things, that is like a hedonic treadmill. I'll never be happy. And I think those countries who encourage people to find purpose, connection, and community. Finland.
Exactly.
I have my swimsuit. I'm going to get in the sauna.
Yeah, exactly.
And have some connections.
Exactly. No, I couldn't agree more. I'd love to bring it back briefly to your time at WeWork.
Yes.
So you were engineering kind of spaces that would also bring that sense of well-being or joy for being at work. So was there something that you found in there that was like the holy grail of moving the needle on
Intention. So it's an interesting opportunity to design and program spaces that were intentional in how you encourage people to create connections and to share moments. Over the course of a day, a typical worker might have 7, 8, 9 different ways in which they need to experience. I might need space to be thinking and concentrating. I may need space to meet someone new,
Yep.
or to solve a problem, or to convene, or to host, and to think about spaces that encourage community, but also, most importantly, purpose. Made me feel that this is not about just making office space. This is about really solving for the human condition.
Excellent.
And
In a really
whether
scientific way,
in a
right?
scientific way. And so, yes, an architect, a designer, a construction person can think about that, but I said everyone can do that. But here's what was really interesting is that startups and, fast-growing organizations like Enfuce, they want to scale and be
Yeah.
mature in one day, but, be big companies. And big companies want to be nimble and agile.
And they want to go back
And
to
they want to go back
they
to
want
being
what the
startups.
startups have, right?
But there are humans in both of these organizations who desire for growth and purpose and meaning.
Yeah.
And so what is exciting is for everyone, whether you are issuing credit card payments or designing space, is to think about how purpose and connection plays a role in what you do. And in that way, you have a role to play in happiness.
Perfect. Well, look, you've also, you just said everyone has a slightly different work environment, whether you're in a big corporate or you were in one of the kind of most famous startup
sure.
scale-ups in the world.
Yep.
So is there any advice that you've got for people kind of entering into a career in that kind of environment, and what to keep in mind to ensure your happiness as you're going on that career path?
Listen, it's, I spent a number of years in other, leadership roles in commercial real estate. And I think I'm not unlike many people who went into their careers thinking about how can I be successful? How can I make money? How can I be secure? And what I have found is the things that we oftentimes are thinking about as students when we're graduating and picking majors or starting our careers is we oftentimes are solving for the things that won't lead to happiness. And what I have found that, and it's an interesting stat, I talk about this in my book, you have a less than 1% chance of being fulfilled in your life if you're not also fulfilled in your work.
That's an incredible stat.
I'm going to
And I can
say
quite
it again.
believe that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
1% chance. And so I want to encourage people, as you start to think about your majors, your careers, your mentors, your journey, not to solve for status, not to solve for money, not to solve for any of that. Those things can be a consequence and a byproduct of it. But first and foremost, you have to solve for the thing that is going to give you fulfillment. And there are three things that science and research tells us leads to fulfillment. Number one, purpose.
Yeah.
Everything you do has that purpose. Number two, belonging and connection.
Yes.
And the last
Big thing at work.
is growth. If this organization is not stretching you, if you're not trying to do something hard, you probably won't be fulfilled. So that is what I've learned.
Fabulous. Would you say that's your number one tip when it comes to rebooting your happiness?
Number one, find your purpose, your authentic purpose.
I love that. Great place to leave it here and embark on the rest of this happiness adventure.
Thank you
this
for having
week.
me.
Thank you for
Yes.
spending some time with us.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.